go ahead and start.
Yeah, yeah.
Come and
So
join us.
fantastic, fantastic. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I've been at Zambia. I think we've got a lot of topics to discuss. Of course, this is Thunder Sophia broadcasting live from Ontario, Canada. The Red Tag Media podcast, and I've got my special guest, Va- Vakalinda, all the way from the United States, and she's a well-known journalist with a background in media. That it starts from, of course, Daily Mail. Is it Times or Daily Mail? I forget those
Well,
two.
I started off with Daily Mail, and then politics came in, and then I ended up at the Times, which I love. That's my home.
Mhm.
Uh, you know, that's my home. That's my heart. At least in the media world, and
Mhm.
yeah, in our time. I mean, the media in Zambia is, I don't know. It's an iffy form because of the way they cover news now. In my time, we used
Uh-huh.
to invest. We used to investigate stories. We'll go wherever stories take us. My first trip, actually, let me just reminisce. My first trip out of Zambia
Mhm.
um, was flying to South Africa for the first time.
Mhm.
Sponsored by the Times to
Mhm.
go and investigate a story on illegal gun running in Angola, and I did a piece on that. It
Mhm.
was exciting. As how old was I? About 21, 22. I
Mhm.
was just grinning the ear. It was so exciting, talking to various people, meeting, various heads in South Africa, and then in the Angola, the embassy in presence. I mean, it was exciting. I ended up at the. I didn't even end up at the embassy, at the Zambian embassy. Though they were like, "Oh, we can send a car for you." I said, "No, no, no, I'm busy right now." Um,
Mhm.
I am with the Angolan ambassador and he's doing this. Yeah, I mean, it was exciting. But let me not waste people's time and reminisce on my historical journalistic background in Zambia. Let's just go on ahead and tackle the topics at hand, Rachel. Let's
Of
do
course, of
that.
course, of course. That's why we're here, and of course, we got some burning topics, and I think the main one is that has been in social media. Is the one that our very own a lady was killed in Kisasa, Kalumbira district. She was murdered out of the people just saying that, oh, obviously she possessed some witchcraft and she took somebody's item and stuff like that, which is
We don't the item. He
uh,
took. She was accused of
mm,
taking somebody's genitalia. Excuse my language, people,
mm,
but
mm,
sometimes we just have to, mention the facts as they are. I mean, first of all, Patricia, that was barbaric. Barbaric.
mm,
In 2026, we
mm,
have 21, 22-year-old believing in witchcraft.
mm.
And those,
That's what I can understand.
I don't understand it. I mean, I thought Zambia was a Christian nation. I was appalled. That Helen, is it her name, Helen?
Helen, yeah,
Something,
Helen was her name.
yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah, something. May her soul rest in peace. And I believe up to date, the police have arrested about 256 people involved in this. I applaud the police for arresting those and let those people face, the courts of law, and we'll see where that, where
Mm,
that ends up. But, somebody needs to be punished
mm, mm,
for her killing. First of all, the guy who who caused what do you call it? The kafafa over
Yes.
there in Colombia, the one who screamed blue matter about
Mm.
his genitalia missing because of her. I mean, come on, people. It's 2026.
Mm.
Why? And look at if you had time to look at the video, Rachufia, that
Mm.
video, most of those are kids.
Mm.
Shouldn't they be in college doing something productive
Mm.
in their life than being in markets and believing in witchcraft? I am appalled. I am disgusted, and just when you look at the story, I think just the wheels of justice failed that woman. I mean, Helen is a mother, 6 kids, married woman. I mean,
Mm.
come on. And then I saw a video. Somebody's sister. There was that picture of the girl with
Mm.
with the weapon or whatever that was she had in her hand. Now,
Whatever the stick or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Now the sister to her came on a came on she came on she did a live and was pleading with the police to forgive her sister. She's young, her life is, excuse me, she killed somebody, and that's somebody, whatever equipment she had, the machete, whatever you call it. She was the one who was twisting. She was seen on the video twisting Helen's, genitalia. A fellow, woman doing that.
Mm.
Come on, people. Come on. And you have somebody's sister coming on here telling us we should forgive her. All she needs is maybe we just need to slap her when
Mm.
somebody is dead and you are seeing inserting weapons in her genitalia. Come on, people. Come on, people. Patricia, take it away.
Well,
I'm just.
you know, that just started the of it, and I think we stem from the bad. Some of us we have and even up to today, most of the people that I grew up within the same neighborhood, you know what they
Mhm,
say? Hey, how's auntie? Because that's how it was when we were growing up as kids.
mhm.
They had infused that thing to us to say, look, if somebody is like your mother, old like your mother, then she's your auntie. You didn't have to be blood related. Okay? That's how it was. So some of us, we grew up in those kind of environments. And say, oh, your aunt is going to come. Sometimes you find like your maybe your mom is working and maybe there's nobody to come and take care of you. Say, oh, can you go and sit with your auntie there until I come back? You know what I mean? But it's not even like your real blood. You see what I'm saying? But it's just an
Yeah.
individual in the neighborhood. So that was how we grew up in the neighborhood. So after the 2000s, the kids growing up from 2000 going up upward, I don't know the teachings and everything and how they became to start behaving in that manner, because some of us, if you see an individual like the way she was, I would definitely would at that time I would be like, oh, no, right? You see? So because you say, oh no, that looks like my mother, that's my auntie, right? Now, these kids nowadays, they don't understand that.
I
This is
think we,
why, to go further on that one, it's more like the kids nowadays only appreciate, what they do is they appreciate, just the now to say, oh, no, what we're doing is this. Oh, TNT, the one. If it's somebody order, iwachi muzimai, or iwachi auntie, iwachi chumdala. Is it? So when people start, addressing you like that, then you know that the society now is disrespecting the older folk. So no matter how hard you try to get into those individuals' minds, because of so much, like nowadays, there's so much drugs and stuff like that on the streets, which is a big thing and a big deal. And you find that individuals, they just make decisions at the step of their minds because of the drugs they're using and stuff like that. Even small girls, like you see that small girl, that we're talking about. Like, look, she's a small girl, but look what she was doing. What led her to do that, right? Because if it was us growing up those days, we're like, no. We wouldn't do that. I don't know what you think on that one. Is the generation different now?
I don't know. I would like to maybe agree. I mean, not that maybe. I agree to what you are alluding to here. I just think maybe, I don't know, maybe we have lost our way as a nation. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't want. Actually, I am disgusted. Like, how can you leave your own home? Like you stated, when we were growing up, I mean, we grew up with, all kinds of people, I mean, even some of us, some of us, we used to be we were out there, So if an adult see you doing something wrong, they'll whoop you on the streets. They're not even your relatives. They'll whip you on the streets, and you go and tell your dad or your mom that somebody whipped you. Guess what? They'll ask you, what did you do? You tell them, and you get another whipping again. I mean, this generation, I don't know about you, whether we that woman was 46, for heaven's sake. She wasn't that old. Over here where we are, it's prime, you are old. Even when you are old, you are, you are in your 60s. We meet people in the clubs. They are 60s, 65. They are living their own life. I mean, they are always regarded that they're in the prime of their life. The only time they'll tell you are old, even when you're old, I mean, you get a certain privileges, just to thank you for what you've contributed to society. So this behavior, I think we need to head it back to our parents. What are our parents teaching these kids nowadays is a question. Exactly. What are they teaching them? What are they teaching them? Are they, I mean, yes, they are drugs. I mean, even when we were growing up, but you never find somebody killing. Actually, that was public lynching. I don't know what to call it. Public lynching. I mean, these guys are in the environment where where we have, everybody has a phone, and everybody's recording. I mean, what were they thinking? Because the police have all the evidence. I mean, that little girl tried to run, but they found her, right? So the police have the evidence. And even when you run, those videos are the ones that are going to be talking for you. So what are you going to, I mean, where is your protection? What are you going to tell the court? Because the prosecutor will just play the videos. They'll be showing you using that metal, whatever bar you had, inserting into somebody's private. I don't know how old. I mean, it was gruesome. It was gruesome. It was demonic. It was. I can't even explain it. How we ended up having a generation like this, except to say that those young kids are. What should I say? I mean, let me just borrow Simon Mwewa's words. They are primitive. They are primitive. They are, I mean, I can call them that because they are my tribal cousins. So don't come at me. Don't come at me. I can say that word.
Well, are they really like? I've never been to that. I've never been to northwestern province, but are they that primitive?
I mean, yes, they are. I mean, for them to believe somebody's private part disappearing, I mean, what do you call it? They're primitive. You know, come on.
It's been in the copper belt. It started from Chingola itself, which is so bad. Chingola has been known for bad things nowadays. I don't know why. You know, most of the bad things and the bad elements in the society is coming from Chingola. And that lady was actually from Chingola, and she went to Kalumbila there to do some business. Yeah, that happened to her. But you remember even that man that was actually kicked and stuff like that. You know, he was from that was I think it happened in Chingola as well. You know, and people are trying to find out like why Chingola is always the hub of some bad things, some illegal stuff, or in fact, it's always happening in terms of even when the president went there, they stoned him, they bent markets. Like, what is it? Unruly, township? What is it like? What's wrong there? You know, I think about that kind of Machipoka Mulenga needs to go down and understand why people in Angola behave like that.
I don't know. People maybe are they bored? They have nothing to do. What is it? They don't have any opportunities. I mean, because if you're busy trying to hustle, getting your life together as a young person, you don't have time to think about. Oh, somebody says, "Oh, my Wamba now has disappeared because of this woman." I mean, I don't know what to call it. I mean, come on. I mean, shouldn't you be out there thinking about, college? What do you want to do out of life? I mean, how do you want to live your life? Because that girl, she's going in for murder. I mean, that's murder. That's murder. I don't know how you look. I mean, she may be young. It's sad. So that's a life wasted right there. It's blue murder. I don't care what you call it. She murdered somebody. Somebody's mother. Somebody's wife. Somebody's sister. Somebody's daughter. You murdered her. You ended her life. And she was only 46. 46 is too young. She had all this time to contribute to our country, take care of our kids. I speak as a mother. I mean, when you have kids, even as a father, you have certain expectations on your kids, and you pour in your love, your time, money. And now, come on, people, come on. And that sister of that, vagabond can come and tell us, no, they should just slap her up, Excuse me? Somebody's mother is dead. She's not coming back. Where is her justice? You tell me that. Where is her justice? Somebody's mother, wife, daughter, cousin, sister is gone forever. She was out there in Colombia hustling for her family. That's bread and butter taken away from that family. And so you are telling me, no, I didn't feel your Excuse me, there are laws in Zambia. Excuse me, but and first of all, let me bring in Vanania. But first of all, who is the NGO? Who is the NGO CC chairperson these days? They are quiet.
It's just called the one that I said.
Yeah, why is the women movement quiet?
Yeah.
Let me ask you, why is Zambian women why is the NGO CC why are they quiet? Where is their voice? Because it's missed. Maybe I haven't seen a statement. What is the women movement in Zambia doing?
That's a very good point, Rakalinda. I think
Yeah.
when issues like this happen, we expect civil society, we expect the churches and everybody to come in on matters like this. But I don't know what's going on. But what I'm assuming, or what I think, they're more invested into politics nowadays than what they're meant for. And
Well,
so sometimes they fail to differentiate between politics and what civil society is all about. And if in most of the parts, most of the times they're affiliating themselves to politics, they tend to respond more in political matters. When it comes to the society itself, I'm not seeing anybody coming up and talking about these issues, the moral issues, talking about this. That's why even that, religious ministry that was created by the PF government, I was like, why do we have this PF created ministry when a lot of bad things are happening? And when they happen, nothing is like the whole entire ministry. There's nothing that they were doing to say, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what we're gonna do. They were just quiet. I was like, why do we have it? And when we came into power in 2021, when that was scrapped off, I was like, I had no bad feelings about it, because it didn't present itself, but it didn't give its services to the Zambian people. So most of these organizations are now being fed in the politics and by political parties. They're in the pockets of political parties. So it's very, very hard for them to say a fair judgment or a fair announcement, because they will look like they are supporting a certain incumbent or certain, but there should be an organization that should be neutral in a sense, because that's how you've been designed when you're creating that organization. But if we look at now, they're all political, they're all this, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. You even find fathers, pastors aligning themselves with certain political parties. No. We don't need you in the political scene. If you want to be in the political scene, remove your robe, go into the political scene, and maybe we'll listen to you. But in the meantime, if you're wearing the robe, you have to be neutral. And what you should be talking about is something that is neutral and something that's going to build Zambians. Children are there misbehaving, doing all these things. We never hear anybody talking about it in the civil society. They're just quiet. Maybe they're talking, but we're not hearing them. The message is not loud enough. Okay, so they need to step up their game. Civil society, we need to start teaching these children on how they need to go into the primary schools. A long time ago, we used to have those departments in primary schools where they used to have like a counselor. I forget what it was called in our school. But if there's something going on, you're a bully or doing that, there was a teacher or a counselor that would come there. They would take you. The teacher will, identify you to say, oh, this person is unruly in the school. Let's take him to this individual. We need to bring those things. We need to bring those departments. That's why all these people are going to schools. Employ them in secondary schools, primary schools, so that people are, when somebody is unruly, we have to nip it in the bud. When a kid is showing those signs, the teacher will identify, the students will identify and say, oh, this individual is going a wrong way. Can we rectify this before it's too late? And there should be some people, they'll go there, they start teaching them, they start helping them, they start mentoring them. Somebody that's going to, counsel them, and they understand, okay, maybe it's coming from a broken home, maybe it's coming from this and stuff like that. And then it shouldn't bring that, anger towards his fellow students.
I agree, BantuTV. I agree everything you just elaborated here. I agree. However, I need everybody. Thank you for the police, but I think also the police failed her. Because apparently they were overpowered ahead. I heard that woman even ran into a chief palace, and the chief told, come on, she was failed on so many levels. So I don't care what happens. Everybody needs to be rounded up. The women movement, I'm disappointed with you right now, but where is your voice? I need to see you stepping in, making sure that this case goes on and it reaches its final conclusion for justice for Helen and her husband and the 6 children that they have. We can't have a nation of facts. We can't have a nation of taking the law into your own hand. We can't have, as a Christian nation, have a nation of kids believing in witchcraft. Come on now, and I hope this incident is going to serve everybody in the country and tell them, it will serve as an example of what not to do when you have somebody who, I don't know whether he was drunk or he was high on somebody, and says, oh, Mwamba is missing because of this person. We can't have that because, like you said, it started in Chingola. There were all 6 men who accused that 61-year-old man of being a witch because Mwamba, he made Mwamba miss. Come on. And when they took them to the police, now we're missing a full end. Only to find that some people's junk, was infected with syphilis. Come on now. Excuse me. Zambians, we can do better.
Moses is failing to join. Vakazia, if you can send him the link. Hello, Mr. Msokotwani, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, doing great. I'm sure you're enjoying your the new weather now. I don't think it's that bad there now.
No. New York actually today was a little chilly, but the good weather is coming.
It's coming now, eh?
Yes. I can feel it.
So you guys you're pretty much close, huh? Are you close here?
To Canada?
Yeah.
No. I'm about 4-5 hours from here to Buffalo. And then Buffalo, I think that's the border getting to Canada.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, one time we need to make a trip and meet in at the falls.
Yes, we do. Niagara. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
Indeed.
So we've just been discussing about the issue of that happened in the Kalumbila district. You remember the lady that was killed?
First of all, let me welcome my president, Mr. President. Mr. President, how are you? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute, Miss Kalinda. How are you?
I'm fantastic. It's nice to hear your voice on this podcast. I love
Thank
it.
you. Thank you. I'm sure the excitement is not only for the podcast, but it's also for the Gunners. For the Gunners.
Oh, oh no, we're not going to talk about. Oh,
Yes,
you won't
North
make me
London
stand.
forever.
North London forever. Whatever. Okay, let's not sing. Or the other one. Or the other one. It goes like this. What's that? We heard them crying at the land. A barrage has called again. One call from Mateta. He said, "Wow." Excuse my French. If Tottenham, I'm a gooner now.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
All right, I'll leave it up there. Go ahead and join in the conversation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
President.
Thank you.
Like I was saying, we were discussing about the and the lady that was actually killed in Northwestern Province.
Yes.
I believe she comes from Chingola. She went there for business, and then a mob of individuals, kids. This issue of if you touch somebody at all, vanjibila nankane, am items, and
Yes.
then the mob pounced onto her and killed her.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I read the story. I'm up on it. Yes.
Yes. So it's so bad for the fact that, like, look, have Zambian society has degraded to that level where we cannot reason to know whether something is fake or real, and just react in a manner that's barbaric. Is this a nation that we're now creating? What are we doing now? I don't know what your thoughts are on those, kind of topics. Your thoughts?
Okay. I think it's more of a cultural issue. I think back in the days, I think stuff like that used to happen, especially in the villages. So I think that the backwards kind of thinking still, other people still have that kind of thinking without really thinking of the consequences. So I think some of our cultures, I think we have to start involving our chiefs and our councillors to start teaching people how.
Hello. From Sokotwana Chan.
I think we lost him.
Oh,
I
he
thought he
dropped
was.
out.
No, he's actually on here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's his.
Oh, maybe it's muted. Have you muted yourself? Bab Sokotwane, are you there? So anyway, before he comes back, like I was saying, like, look, the society itself has. Hello. Yeah, we can hear you.
You can hear him, Sokotwan Nabesa.
Hello.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, Kalinda.
Okay.
So anyway, Makalinda, that was a very disappointing, a moment of time. And, like I was saying, like, I think the society has degraded. And I think individuals have, we've become like sort of like it's like a jungle nowadays. Like we're becoming like a more of a banana republic, than a republic that we're seriously known to be some country that had all these morals, all these things that people were following and stuff like that. But as we look at it, do we think that this is something that I think it's back now. I think he dropped off. Hello,
Yes,
Mr.
I'm
Noel.
back. Yes, I'm back. I'm back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, go ahead. You're saying?
No, I was saying we have to involve our chiefs and our traditional people to educate them on how to handle situations like this and how wrong it is, and to start seeking proof before actions. So I think culturally, probably these things used to happen back in the days, and there's still some people who believe in such things, voodoo and witchcraft and stuff. So I think we have to involve our chiefs in our areas to start educating their subjects on matters like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
And no, you know what? You've just said something that I didn't even think about. You've just said something that I really, really didn't think about. But I think it's something that's very, 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 very important. You're saying that, we need to involve the chiefs and the chiefs in all these, societies and all these, different parts of the country to start embarking, a certain knowledge. Now, hasn't this been done before, or what has been happening? Like, I'm so concerned. I want to,
No,
Yes.
before Machibos, before the president come in, the chiefs. I mean, in this case, the chief, whoever was that, he felt this woman because she was taken to the chief, and he gave them back to the people who were beating her up, and. My thing is the women movement back in the day used to carry out educational campaigns all over the country. They're not like you said, they're not doing it now. They are all in it for the pocket, which is very, very disappointing because this women movement get their funding from Western countries like Norway, Sweden. I know that because I got some funding for some projects I was doing from the Norwegian countries or the Nordic countries, from England, from here. Everyone is supporting. If you put up a project proposal and pass it on to the Secretary of State here, chances are 90% they're going to give you funding if you're saying I'm educating, I'm conducting education campaigns for Africans on witchcraft, bringing in mainstream Christianity, and you give them these examples, the Chingola incident where that 61-year-old man was nearly battered to death because 4 or 5 people accused him of somehow miraculously taking their private parts, and when those men were caught up by the police, it so happened that some of them had syphilis, some of them, their members were smaller than. Come on. I mean, I'm with the president when he says there's a section of our people who are primitive, who believes in witchcraft, and we need to root it out. The chiefs, some of the chiefs themselves, they need to be educated on this, because if somebody runs into your palace, they are asking for your help, they are asking for your safety, because the police again failed this lady. They were overpowered by that mob, which when you look at it, the age itself, 18, 19, 20, what are you doing on the streets believing in witchcraft? I mean, what kind of families are you coming from for you to be believing in witchcraft? I'm just saying that I'm struggling. I'm struggling to understand. Somebody help me understand. I mean, I'll end up here because I can't understand. I can't believe it. The whole thing is just barbaric. 2026, my foot. Let me end there.
Mr. Welcome, former PS Kazia. How are you? And welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm okay, but
yeah, that's good. That's fantastic. Welcome. So you've caught us on the time that we're just discussing the issue of the lady that was murdered in Kalumbila, and we're trying to figure out the morals and where we are as Zambia itself. Our young people now more ruthless than when we were growing up. Or are we failing these young people? Why are they so more rebellious? Because the people that are doing all these acts are actually young people, and we're trying to figure out why is it that and I think you got something to say, Ragazia. Take it from there.
It's a very unfortunate incident. That's very unfortunate. We just need to raise accountability to those people that actually did that. They have to be made accountable, and the systems that fail them, they must also be made accountable. That is not the way to do things. I think in the modern era, like Makarinda said, it's unbelievable. We can't believe
Voice
things
ililo
like that.
bane, voice ililo lero nishani.
I don't know Gamule Mufapa. Mule Mufapa.
Go ahead. It's just a little bit low, but go ahead.
Okay, let me reconnect again. But I'm just saying it's unacceptable. It's unacceptable, and people must be made to account for their action.
Mhm. Yes. So the people, yeah, definitely, yeah, we all agree with that. We all agree with that. But we're saying like um, what has led to all this? Why are people like, especially young people now, involving themselves in all this illicit kind of behavior? Change, not to feel so that we're not impacting more on society. And then Bamsoko 20 was here saying like, look, I think we need to involve the chiefs to get the message to the people, so that they understand that, look, there's certain morals and standards in how people should live in a society. There should be certain rules and regulations. And looking at a small village of Kalumbira, obviously it's very, very small. And obviously it's just been trying to be developed. And because of the gold and everything and all that stuff, you bring in people from all sectors of the society, from all different parts of the country, even maybe some elements of foreigners, that are bringing this kind of things in there. You may not know, and maybe it was in fact a good thing that the government went there and stopped that mining operation there, because we're bringing in people from different parts of the Africa they think differently and they do things differently. Zambia therefore so. Mr. Msokotrani, maybe you can amplify it on more on the chiefs.
Yes. A couple of weeks ago, I think it was on Women's Day, the president made a speech, and in his speech, he talked about uh, child marriages, how children, should not be married, should not be married at a younger age.
Early
So
marriage.
I think speeches like this really shine light on a lot of things. So if politicians and chiefs and members of parliament and stuff like that talk about these things in their constituencies and wards and chiefdoms, I think it will go a long way. The president mentioning something like underage marriages, just having speeches and talking about stuff like this, I think would start changing some people's minds. Like I said, traditionally, some people believe in that, so it's a little hard to come out of that if that's what you've believed your whole life. If that's what your parents have believed and your grandparents have believed, it's kind of hard to come off of that. But our politicians, like I said, our MPs, our chiefs, our councillors need to start talking about these issues. That way, it raises awareness to the problems that we're facing.
That's wonderful. Vagalinda.
All right. I mean, let me take it this way. I mean, I agree with everything that my president has stated here. That back in the day, anybody remember the song by PK Shah? It went like this. I think the chorus would be, he said, Napia kuno, no, then the man fell at Kuria Kuchecho Kobari, Vapole Pole Vapona. Neliromba kungada naye nalyapona abana bayimati bayemukwera babwishibwa atawe ati bedite tidafa kungandoku bakirabo kumipikira balirabo kumipikira ati what was the word for it because they were playing some game bala kumipikira beni so if you buy me never I fast no after push they ran and poured you kapunda na pole pole kuno nafwa na pole na peni kunganda. So anyway,
I'm so happy with your narration with the broken bemba.
Yes, I'm trying. Okay, I am Tonga, so I'm trying. I'm doing the best I can. There's a thin line between Christianity and witchcraft, I think, in our country. And based by Piquet's song, that was a wonderful illustration of what happens in our community. I mean, you have people that preach in their homes and they go out in their house in society preaching the word of the Lord. But when they are on their own, they do other things. And now this is what is happening because our kids learn from what we teach them. Okay. Because everything that they see from their parents, they suck it up. And so if you are telling the world you are a Christian and then they see you practice witchcraft, so like the president says, they believe in it because that's all they know. That's all they learn from their parents. Somehow, I think the three of us, we come from different homes where, our parents taught us education is the only way out. You know what I mean? So, yes, there were Christians. Some of us, yes, my dad was a Seventh-day Adventist, but on a Friday, you will find him at a local pub having a mossy. I didn't understand it because he was supposed to be welcoming the Sabbath on Friday. But come Saturday morning, he'll be, getting all of us to church. So and we learned from that, and so it's a big problem that I just don't think the chiefs alone can handle. The women movement, they need to wake up. They need to forget politics for right now and involve themselves in these educational campaigns that we need, because we are losing a generation. Because when you look at that, the composition of those kids who were killing that woman, 18, 19, 20, 21, again, I asked the parents, where were you when these kids are killing, another human being? Shouldn't you be, directing them to go to college? Or, there's free education now, we understand not everybody can go to college. How about taking up, technical entrepreneurship studies, which are dotted all across the country? You can go anywhere and CDF will send you there, they'll sponsor you. What about that? So there's a lot that we need to do, but, to me, I can't comprehend. I still can't comprehend. And I feel for that man I feel for his children, and accountability is important. We really need to do something, radical, just to change our mindset as a people. I am there.
Rakazia is back. Rakazia, yeah, are you there now?
Yes, I'm here, Watson.
Yeah, so we're just talking about this issue here. Obviously, you're now up to date in what we're discussing, and we would like to get your 2 cents on this one. Is a society degrading to a level where children now are just misbehaving anyhow? And I think this is not really a political question. This is all about society. Because if small individuals, small people like kids, they can undress a lady, beat her up, and kill her in cold blood, and laughing. And then where are we going?
It's something like this. Very old. I think you know. Otherwise, one of the things is that it shows how much hate that we might hating each other, these kids, while they are young, and also not to stop certain behaviors of hate where they really get internalized.
Mhm. Yeah, I think your network is so bad today, Babakazia.
The resident PS is fishing.
Efo mabika yipina badani vivide efo bade. Efo mabika yipina. It's so bad. Your connection is bad. Hello. Yeah. So we can't hear you anyway. We cannot hear you. But we can move on. I think there's one big topic that we need to discuss. It's now political. It's a UPND matter, and we're talking about Ngaren Kombo being relieved of his duties and being replaced by his deputy. Of course, we know, Gary Kombo was, the chairman of, elections and mobilization for the UPND, and he's been there for years and years and years and years, and he's done great things. And then all of a sudden, in the last, 1-2 years, there has been certain, rumors and stuff like that. And I even said it in one of the posted it in one of the chats, and people were like, "Hey!" But look, the fact of the matter is, he's been relieved of his duties and replaced. Is the UPND going to be the same in terms of mobilization and everything, or are we? Is that a big miss? What's going on? Ramsokotwani?
Yes. Okay. If Garen Combo was removed from his position, I'm sure there had to be a good reason. So we can, just because somebody was good at what they were doing, we cannot continue keeping them if we know that what they did was wrong. Especially if we want to lead by example. Especially if we got into government saying certain things like there'll be no corruption, there'll be no this, there'll be no that. So we have to lead by example. That's number one. Number two, I'm hoping that the person who took over from Gary learned one or two things from Gary. So I'm hoping that the person could continue the work that Gary was doing. And usually a student becomes better than the teacher. So I'm hoping that the new person learned a few things from Gary and then has a few ideas of their own to expand from what they learned from Gary. I trust my party so much that I think they would not have put somebody in there who they thought was not capable to do the job. That's my thought.
That's a good thought. Bakalinda.
I mean, the president has just hit the nail on its head, and it's gone in correctly. So yes, I agree with everything that my president has said, but also I'd like to add on to say I believe in President Echech. I think he knows what he's doing. Gary, on the other hand, and everybody who is in this administration, the president has repeatedly said, if your hand is caught in a cookie jar, you're on your own. That's one point. And I mean, it's on record. You are working with somebody who has jailed, who has sent his own brother to jail for stealing. There has been rumors that Gary did, I'm not saying, but those are rumors that his hand was caught in the cookie jar. The president picked up on it. He was fired. And he let it. In fact, he was told resign from the party. Gary was dragging his feet. And then that forced the president to fire him. So, like the president says here, what's his name again, Mr. Farali, whatever his name is, but I think that's his name. Another lousy husband of mine. He was the deputy. He was a deputy to Gary, so hopefully he learned something and he will lead us where we need to be. But instead of just firing Gary, the president also needs to do something about the Secretary General, because we thank him for ushering us into power, but he can't hold on to the party at ransom. We need to do more as a party. So I would like to think that the next person to go would be the Secretary General, Mr. Imenda. It's about time. Let's bring in new blood with new ideas. I mean, it's 2026. Come on, people, let's wake up. Sort sana, kwenyu, let's do something, radical. People expect us to do more. So, yeah, these positions are not personal positions, and these people that say, no, the president can't fire certain people because they are from a certain region. All those are, all those have just been squashed. Gary, who was instrumental in that victory in 2021, today he's just a mayor. He's just like a member like me. The only difference is a member of parliament for Mazabuka. So, it's time. If your hands are caught in the cookie jar, allegedly, you get fired.
Did you want to say something, no? Anyway, Bakazia. Bakazia seems to be off today.
Hello, Imuiwa. Wakalinda is saying Gary was put in a cookie jar. Is it true?
Allegedly. Allegedly.
That he had his hands in the cookie jar.
It's alleged. So what's your contribution on the matter?
Yeah, now I'm still with you, guys. Stay forward, you guys.
Can't hear anything. Unfortunately, Mr. Kazia must be somewhere very, 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 very far, where he cannot access. We can't hear anything from you.
Anyway, let me, when I get it somewhere where I can get my network.
No, okay. All right. So there's a lot of defections coming from the opposition, and of course we're seeing, people. It's rumored to say like over 800 people, including members of parliament, councillors, and all that, have defected in the last few weeks to the UPND party. And all these, defections, and I think there's one in particular that I want to talk about. The Chipata mayor, George Mwanza, I think he's done a good job, and he's done a good political move. Because for a young man in politics, you have to know where your future is. So for him to defect at that young age, it's a very, 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 very good move. And I applaud him. I give kudos. George Mwanza, Mwana, you've done a good job to defect to the UPND, because we need young people, vibrant young people that can represent the UPND party in the Eastern Province. Okay, and I appreciate that, and I'll obviously send you a personal message and tell you that. So, what do you think about all the defections? People are saying they're fake. Are they fake or they're real? Mr. Msokotwane?
The defections are real. For one main reason. The defections are real because people have seen the job that UPND has done. People have seen the delivery of the message and the issues and the promises that our president stood by. So unless you're blind, that's number one. Number two is, I think a few weeks ago I heard that the president had said that the members of parliament who are there now, they should be retained instead of having elections, not elections, but having adoptions. So the people who are defecting could be smart enough to know that if I defect from PF to UPND, I'm keeping my seat because we are not having any adoptions. That could be another reason why they're defecting. Apart from the reason of saying these people are genuinely defecting because they see what our government has done. I hope that's the main reason. But I'll take some of the defections with a grain of salt, especially with the members of parliament, because they know that they'll retain their seats, and there won't be any adoptions. That's just my thought.
Yeah, that's something. Ragalinda, what's your thought?
We welcome the defections. However, with defections, we must remember there is going to be some friction between the new members and the old members. I would like to disagree with the president on returning all the members of parliament that we have, because some of them are non-function, and I will straightforward, call out such members of parliament, like my own members of parliament in Lusaka. What's his name? This one from Kawata. God. What is his name again? The Kabata MP.
Oh, Kabata MP. Chayengwa.
Chayengwa.
How about the one in the cookie jar?
Even the one in the cookie jar. He has issues in Mazabuka, but he might survive because I think Mazabuka is going to be delimited into, I don't know, 2 or 3 constituencies. So maybe he will get to keep one. But people now, the grassroots people want people who live in their communities to begin with. And they have seen that some of them are actually don't live there, and there's no development. I mean, let's not just return people just because we can. Let's bring in people, because let me tell you, because if we return people that are not popular in some of these constituencies, there's a possibility that UPND can lose massively, because the people, most of the people are not with their MPs, and that is a fact. So for me, I think we should go for quality. We should go for deliverables, people who can deliver our our goals. People who believe in the party's ideology, not people who are coming in just to to eat with us, or to drink with us, may he so rest in peace, like ECA would say. Those who want to drink with us or eat with us, let's not pick people based on that. Let's pick, some of them, they're genuine. Some of them, they know that, some of them are popular, and they're doing a good job. I would support the adoption of, for instance, Sunday Chanda, who defected to the UPND 2 weeks ago. That one, I accept him, because he is a man that has delivered for his people. So why wouldn't you return such a man? I'm asking. So let's.
No. You know what, Rakalinda, without cutting you short, Sunday Chanda has demonstrated an example where you can actually be in opposition and still work with the current government. It does not necessarily mean that if you're in the opposition, you have to work against the government. Then you're working against your people. People have elected you to represent them. And then because you have different ideologies and beliefs, you store, the current position for the current government's ambitions. You don't utilize the CDF. Many of all these PF member of parliament, CDF is still sitting in the coffers because they don't want to implement, the funds and implement projects, because they say, if we do it, then we're going to look like we're working with HH, which is a very, very, very uncivilized way of thinking. And I'm like, wow, if people think like that on that level, right? So now we're looking at these individuals that think like that, and then they're coming up to tell the Zambian people to say, fish mwanza mgujita. Simple things like that they're failing to do. Go ahead.
And the only people that decide who comes back, who goes, are the people. Anyway, you cannot be the ones to say, the things that you've not been told that's what they want to do. You make very long conclusions. Conclusions. First of all, you create scenarios. You must create a scenario, and then you ask yourself questions, and then you even answer those questions in a way on behalf of people that are supposed to be opposing you. Questions. But instead of asking them questions, what is it that they're going to do? So they tell you. But when you create a scenario where you ask questions and then you yourselves provide answers, those are your questions and those are your answers. They are not for anybody. This one. However, there is some people who join, however, folks are defect. It's their right. Let them defect. And if people are going to believe them that they are the best that should lead them in those constituencies, people are going to vote for them. if they've delivered in where they've been in the constituencies, now after the fake, people should vote for them. Why not? Since it's the people's choice. But in the chakweba ati abantu abali bamushanira bwali aba. Niba lendo mwali.
Did anybody get that? Okay, he's dropped off. I think it's not. Yeah, he's definitely.
He's disappeared. It's disappeared again.
Yeah, he's having network problems. He's having kansi ku Canada namo na problem ya malaiti ya zest.
Airtel issues.
Canada na problem ya Airtel na ku Canada kan.
Zamtel is playing tricks on him right now. Zamtel. Back here. Sign up to Starlink. That's the best one,
What do you use? Explonet? Talk to me on internet. I'll tell you which one to use. Anyway, anyway, that aside, we have more pressing issues, and of course, the issue of Gary Combo is very, 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 very political, and I don't know about Sokotwani. What do you think?
About how political it is.
The issue of him, being removed, and the issue of why he was removed, and is the because he was a chairman for politics and of course mobilization and politics and elections. Now, is the person that's going to take over going to be at that same caliber, or now are we going to see a decline in terms of mobilization and everything? I just don't know. Like, we all knew what the works that he has done. We cannot take away from the works that he did. But aside from what he has done now, or what led to his dismissal, Mama.
Let's not think negative. Let's think maybe he could be better than Gary. He's younger. We involve the youth. He's closer to the youth maybe than Gary was. Gary was not only the chairman for mobilization, but he was also a member of parliament. He was also a minister. So he had other positions that could probably hinder him from concentrating just on vote mobilization. So this person that we have now, they probably have more time because they don't have all those other positions. And also, he's younger than Gary. I'm hoping he's younger than Gary, so he's closer to the grassroots and to the youth than Gary was. So I think it's actually a good thing that we have somebody new. I mean, if Gary hadn't been fired, fine. But there's a reason why he was fired. We all don't know why he was fired. So we just have to hope that this new person will learn something from him and will be a little better, because they are closer to their grassroots and they're younger and they don't have all those pressing, very important positions that keep them away from doing this job. This is his specific job. This is the job that he's going to be doing only. So I'm hoping for the better just because of that.
Fantastic. I think one last point we need to look at is our very own tradition, which is one of the largest ceremonies in the history of Zambia, which is the Komboka ceremony. I think.
Before we talk about Komboka, let's talk about the most pressing issue. The most pressing issue now is Mundubile. Mundubile's arrest this Friday and the commotion that took. reasons why that's the most.
Now let's take about that.
Yes.
The former DG
Nyasulu.
Katika walefu kuwa championi, katika walefu kustashani, imwe. Mwali mwisho wa Zambia polisi imwe vesti imwe. Kusa muhimu ya fe baye anjele, uzaka bila kusogolo iwe. I just laughed. The way they grabbed him, no, kusa mupoza fe muvani nde purukutuku. Yeah! Njele mwamwa na nomba. Is it? I think these are the issues that people are saying, like, look, these politicians, but if you go on there trying to champion, especially the police, the police are going to show you who they are. And Zambia police is not a joke. And people are now have been taking Zambia police as a joke for some time. Wherever they can just do anything and stuff like that, and I think now, I think there's instruction to say, look, Zambia police, combat Zambia police, for guilty. You know, you see what I'm saying? Long time ago, those days, we were buju. You know, remember those days? You can just see a police one you know, you stop what you're doing. Nowadays, it's just become like a plaything, like a pokolava started abuse and stuff like that. And it started happening in the PF because the PF had undermined the duties of the police service and put in cadres as their own police service. So you'd find even, you know, people like JJ Banda would go and slap people at Central Police Station. Imagine this. Central Police Station. What backing do you have? I don't know. Gentlemen,
hello, can I come in on this one? Hello?
Go ahead.
This is just a total disgrace to behave like that to a police. Imagine that it was when UPND was in opposition. If they had done that to Gary Kombo for asking a question to say what is the offense, that kind of behavior where a person is brutalized for asking a question.
Gary Kombo was in the. In fact, you have done well to bring this topic up. Gary Kombo.
Finish talking. This is where you lose your mind.
Remember when
can I submit first? Are you going to allow me to submit before you answer? Or it is a question of no? I haven't submitted. Let me submit.
Let him submit. Let him talk. Yes, you talk, Bakazia. But after you talk, I will talk. Bakazia, go ahead.
Yes, that is exactly what this forum does. A person and one default out them and we let them finish and then you rebuttal. So, it's a behavior a behavior UPND condemned the right, left, center, forward. You condemned that to the core of it. And it is one reason some of the people said, no, we can't allow police brutality in this fashion. It was wrong then to behave like that. It is wrong now to behave like that. And I expect the consistency of the information. But umuntu kusa musenda Nyasulu mulandu wako batayipisa question ati mulandu w'ekintu apangire ero mwamusenda mwamukosa in that fashion. We must condemn that kind of behavior. It's not a behavior worth praising. And you know, it's teenage tatulekela ukujushanya. Because today, when people are complaining, you say, but FMWale chitaba PF. Excuse me. So, we should fear the right. Excuse me. We should fear the right. It was wrong. It is wrong now. And I never got to Mamkula for Isabamundu, even if you are 7 years, Capishu Makafia, this is also another witch hunting. Those things are not going anywhere. And I can only urge Honorable Munduwire to continue on that trajectory. We cannot allow this kind of behavior that you guys condemn. When Nyasulu was being thrown in a car like that, it was not right. It's embarrassing, and we shouldn't support that. Personally, I was very, very ashamed. When I saw that, I thought that, okay, of course, they let him go later on. But the act of picking him up for asking a question was not right. I submit.
Go ahead, Wakalinda.
Vakazia, I think, let's be honest with ourselves. When you say that Nyasulu was the way he was picked was embarrassing. How embarrassing? Because Mr. Nyasulu embarrassed himself. Yeah, you can ask the question to the police, but it's the manner, the tone of how he asked the question. I mean, you have to respect the police. Whether you are a chief executive officer or you are a former chakuti, you can't be pointing. I mean, you can't be pointing at the police and being very combative and just interfering the whole process. Because what he did was interfering the process of what the police were doing. And when you say no, these things never used to happen in MUPF, maybe we have selective memory. Gary Nkombo was picked up and thrown in jail for months because of a rally in Livingston. And then they charged him with murder. Let's not forget that. Let's not forget those women. I mean, our wonderful VIP now with the then, may her soul rest in peace, former vice president, former first lady, Maureen Malasa, who are being chased. Who are being chased. Let's not forget about those videos we saw. And you can't come here and tell us, no, these things never used to happen in MUPF. When we have records of these things happen, videos that went viral, you can't come here and then claim, no, the things that are happening in UPND, totally different. The police then didn't have
a quick question.
I'll let you speak. Let me finish. There's no quick question. Let me finish my thoughts before you throw me off. The police now have been given back their power, and they're doing their
Hold on, Wakazia. Hold your horses.
When did I say? And I want you to wait when you speak.
No, but
when did that not happen?
That's why when I came in, you said, give me a chance. Okay? So you have to give chance to your fellow individuals to put their submission. Let Wakalinda finish. Okay? That's how these are the rules of the game.
Right, sorry. But I wanted that question answered. When did I say that?
Let me finish. Let me finish.
You can comment at the end.
My flow, you can ask your question later. I mean, come on, let's not have selective memory loss. Just because Nyasulu, in his combative manner, and the police were trying to defuse the situation, picked him up and threw him because he himself did not handle himself the way you're supposed to handle when you are in front of the police, and when they're trying to deal with another case. He threw himself there because probably he wanted press coverage because he's running for mayor, and whatever party that is, like Bachurufia say, at Shani, Bashala Neka party, that's the party is running. Yeah. So, I mean, come on. Because if he had handled himself like a normal human being, I don't think the police would have picked him up the way they picked him up. Absolutely not, because we have so many examples in this new, new dawn environment where the police are always professional. But if you're going to disrespect them in the manner that he did, asking what question was he asking? You can't ask a question like that, because even here where I am in the US, if you behave the way the Banyasuru behave, I would have been, he would have been in jail. Let's not sugarcoat things. Shan never used to happen when I'm PF. Me, I refuse.
When did I say that? When did they tell you to bang for Shandi?
I hate you said.
When did I say that?
No, not Wakalinda. Wakazia, listen. I cannot hear the same thing that Wakalinda is saying. It means you said
yes.
In the PF it was never happening. And I told you. I wanted to come to you and tell you that. No, okay, hold on. I haven't told you like, look, I wanted to come in and tell you this. You said, oh, give me chance, and then I told you like, look, in the time of the PF, if you recall correctly, when SH's house was being raided, remember that night? That fateful night? Garin Kombo was in his car going towards the house. He met ZP. No, come on. Can you just give people a chance to talk? Are you going to be talking over people? Able to have conversations? From conversations anyway. So when he was going towards the house,
if you're disrespectful for Chando, before you
no,
that is you don't say that they people and but don't about PF when we talk about you, I'm saying what and not about UPND. Did I ever say about UPND? I'm mentioning names.
Okay, Vakazia.
Gentlemen,
I'm to what a civil conversation.
Okay, Vakazia umfweni kanchi nomba. Whenever I'm addressing you now. Vakazia, if you remember correctly, when Garin Kombo was driving towards it, that time when he was in the position, when they raided his house, that fateful day, he met Wakapoko. And then he had a confrontation with them. Okay? You remember very correctly. It's in video, it's on social media, it's everywhere. He asked the same question. Yeah, they go, no, he's finished. I want to find out. Bali Mukenyi, you go back. You cannot me. I want to find out what's going on. They had a confrontation with the police. They beat him up badly. He came up the social media saying, you see, just for asking to have access. He's that time before he was the president. So the police has always been acting the way they behave this way. It's nothing new. Even Mukaunda days, Churuba days. Okay? It's like the police, that's how they eat. The police. So if you go about how if the village Zambia. Mr. Msokotwani, want to hear something from you?
Yes,
after he's done, can I come in, please?
In defense of Mr. Is it Mr. Kazira?
Yes.
Yes, please.
In defense of Mr. Kazila said these things used to happen in PF. and you guys condemned these things. And these things are happening in UPND. I did not hear him say these things did not happen in PF. He said these things used to happen in PF and you guys condemned them. But you guys are doing the same things that used to happen in PF. Unless I'm wrong, Mr. Kazila.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
The way I heard it and the way Bakalinda heard it is different. But I think the bottom line is this. No, but
it's
hold on,
not
before you come in, I think the bottom line is this. What the main issue is this. The police have always acted the way they've been acting since the beginning of time. Okay, so whether it was in the PF or UPND or whatever, they've always acted the same. That's my point of view. That's my thing. What I'm thinking or what I'm saying. So whether Bakazia said it or Tafiarestica, but me what I'm saying is overall universal knowledge that we know about police. We all know that. They haven't changed the way they behave. It's the way they've been behaving since time. Go ahead, Bakazia.
You see, Vatanda, first of all, you must admit that what you said is not what I said. Now, we not manipulate information. When you start manipulation of information to suit the narrative, it's not right. Let's not go to the bottom line. Police brutality is one thing that was very rampant and is still rampant. And it is a point which UPND said we will change it.
Cracking.
Not to embrace it.
Cracking. There's a noise at the background.
Mama, not to start embracing it. The part of embracing this police brutality is wrong. Whether you're going to see it that way or that way, it is wrong. Kapokola, Muntu, Elo is there to save you. To ask him a question, to say, Muna Nushina Panga, it is not an offense. Even Bagari Nkombo, when he was being harassed, he asked the same question. Why are you doing this? And they misbehaved in the same manner they did to Babizanyo Zulu. They went after him, picked him up, bundled him up. It was wrong. It is still wrong to behave like that towards Mr. Nyasulu. And even the better you agree to these things and better see it differently, the better for all of us. To brutalize us for nothing. No. They are there to obey the law, not to be the one to abrogate the law. For asking you, you can ask the police. Now, at least in the knowledge that I did in prosecution, that is why fast before they take him to court. They can't, because anyone will be happy to handle that matter. We should not allow that. Even if we disagree on principles and maybe policies, let's agree on those. Let's disagree on policies. So, but for police brutality, let's also again say, we may differ, but this is not the essence to mistreat ourselves. That was my point. My point was, it is one of the things in the manifesto to stop, not to embrace. I submit.
Are we going to? Okay, so okay, Bachanda, Machina. Us as the UPND government, we're going to impose and tell the police how they should police. Because this is a policing, this issue is about
no, you policing. Don't tell them, Bachanda, you don't tell them how to behave, because there are rules of procedure. You are not going to tell them. These rules are standard. They are in the law, which they abuse the police. So the UPND government have a responsibility to stop the abuse.
No. Moneni. Vakapokola, they operate at their own mandate, and they operate accordingly. Iwe tetu ime waime chivaka watampo kusonta vakapokola iwe shani. See, the thing is this: ngamwai chefya vakapokola vala babwina. If you become, whatever kwa champion, Because if you look at the video, I have the full video. I'll send it to you guys. The guy, what he did was so unprofessional. Okay? Very, very unprofessional. What he did was he started pointing fingers at the police. Instructions. If for and all they wanted was to
you see, stop manipulating everything. Stop manipulating evidence which everybody has seen. Why can't you manipulate things that is there?
What is there? What is there? No, but here's the thing. If you saw the video, he was going there. Hey, kupera basa bamatiyo mwana. Turendana na bamundubira batufa tubasa asha mukati. Hawe, munatori change of your take anyawe. We know everybody knew.
You are putting things that you are not there.
To become money, you cannot be a champion Kuribaka Pokola. Especially Zambia police. From time of inception, you cannot be a champion. Kuribaka Pokola. Teti Bakapola Tabakuleke, Balakuimia by air.
Bakapola champion.
Zakuimia by air. Eh? You see what I'm saying? Because that's how the police are. You remember when Bakuita Mubelti, Bakuita Mubelti Vija. Bakunyamura so. This was that that's how it is. That's how the police have been operating in Zambia since independence. So Iwenga Waisa Kulia Panga what no champion. They put you in a holding cell until you come down. They've got that mandate to do that because that's it's operation. But if I could be the scenery, because if imagine this, if Sulu, this one is saying this one is saying this, there'll be confusion. So they need to put order. It's policing, protecting, and order. If you are a fire, no. So me, I support the police 100% because if you are going to support your party members, you're supporting whatever, I want to support there, I want to go there for moral support. Icheme. Chapwa. Icheme. You don't have to go one-on-one with the police. Mr. Msokotwani. Hello? Wakalinda, are you there?
I'm here, Bachanda. I mean, I'd like to agree with. For me, I think I'm past this this debate on the police and everything else. Really, what I want to focus on is Mundubile being arrested.
Why was he arrested?
Supplying air. During
why was he questioned? He doesn't be arrested, but why was he questioned?
It's involving the $1.5 billion contract that he got to do roads in Namwala and other areas, and how those roads were never done, but he got paid. Those companies that he had interest in. Basically that's what the case is about. And guess who resuscitated this case? It's not the UPND government. It's Rachishimba Kambwe. Remember that conversation he had with? Remember? He said he had evidence. He said he had evidence. So if the police, if the ACC. Yes,
corruption yake na alikuwa information na alikuwa information kama akatemwe na natapo kulanda pale ba mundubire.
Yeah, so he said he had evidence. So the SEC have every right to follow anybody that is being suspected in corruption. That's their mandate, that's their duty. So, I mean, there's nothing like, oh, why are we resuscitating this case? We're not resuscitating it. It's, but Shishimba Kambuli said it. We have it on record, on a recording. That's it. I have every documentation about his deals. So if the police today are going to, question him, why are we raising eyebrows? Let's wait and see where where the paper trail leads them. It's as simple as that. I end there.
Okay, I think Mr.
Yeah, you see, one thing I like about one thing that I like about you guys is that for Gary Nkombo, we don't know what cookies he touched, but for Munduvile we know. Munduvile vena cookies iketemo na mulanda papa mwayamba okulanda. But Gary Nkombo, we don't even know why he was fired according to what I've heard here. This is where I have a problem. And this very audit, Gary Nkombo even went in parliament, presented what I'm a facts pali wa Munduvile yali ishibikwa. Just leave him alone. Let him enjoy his rights to contest for presidency, and then people make a choice.
Who said what?
That is just, yeah.
You said what? The Gary Nkombo said
saying, oh yes, he gave the status of the road infrastructure for which Mr. Munduvile was cleared. He gave that. You can go to parliamentary debates and you're finding that. It's there.
I'll have to go back.
When they were to cook it, Gary Nkombo baikete mutatuishi. Tatwatara tuishi bana lero tamuilanda. Lero ngafika cook it aba Munduvile na mwaishi. Awe bani muila kwata double standards. Just leave him alone.
No. It's not being double standard here. What we're trying to figure out is whether there was corrupt practices in both cases. What we don't know, we cannot talk about. But what we know is what Shimba Kambwili said. Nalikwata information yakwebati. Ganachita review ichalo chikapapa. You see? Pali Munduvile uliawile muleda. Okay? So obviously the investigating agencies had to do their investigations. So for them to even call him and all that stuff, it's because obviously they've gathered the information. Because the 30 to land into child that we shive. Okay? When the time comes for whether Gary Nkombo is involved in the corrupt practices or maybe it was a different issue, we don't know. That time will come again. But what we're talking about now is Munduvile.
Take the look out of your eyes first. No. Leave him alone. Investigate also those other people.
So when I did something wrong, because
where have you been for 5 years? You know, Mapuisha investigation. It is actually 2021. They don't know why I should not but
anyway, listen.
But personally,
I'm so mdala.
Yes.
Mdala taken kon mulaini. Hapa manje nkani mwafika. I think mwaiona je mwendera.
Naiona. Next topic.
The way it is like a order. Mudala wakaena uyo ndani Munduvile. Ba Munduvile according to information presented online. But Shimba Kambwili wanakamba ati nina information yaba mdala. na corruption yavo from a contract they were giving contracts in information. So my investigating the departments decipher. And then when they deciphered, they found that we want to, maybe they said there's a case here. Let's find out if he's innocent. He's going to be
exonerated.
It's innocent before proving. What's wrong about getting Munduvile, questioning him, and why all that kafwafwa?
The kafwafwa is, it looks like it's a witch hunt. That's how it looks like. People are forgetting to say these laws, actually, some of these laws that people are complaining about now, especially some PF members, are laws that were introduced by PF. So now the police now and the intelligence agencies are just following what the law says. So I don't think anybody really wants to go after Munduvile because he's a threat to the government, or he's a threat to the presidency, or he's a threat to anything. No, it's just that somebody said there's a case here and they're looking at the case. But it just doesn't look right. At this moment where there's elections and there's court cases, the timing is wrong. Although the intelligence agencies are doing their job, but I think the timing is wrong.
Okay. I didn't look at it at that angle.
Yes, nafikuzana but moneni inochonachira ipushotira chanje nga kukijaya abankombo ikafuma lilali tukechiba lilali yodini because tamuna ndapo pali iweli asi mwalika njapo echo mwanya ntirapo chinchi because when
Bakazia they want us to talk about something that we don't know about.
No, let me answer Mr. Kazia. It's not just Gary, but there have been people who have been fired.
Yes.
During HH's term. Actually, there's more people who have been fired during HH's term than in the 7 years of Lungu. I understand your sentiment, yes. But if you look at it in the broader prospect, a lot more other people have been fired. And what they were fired for hasn't been mentioned. It was just said, this person has been fired. Because if you go back and look at all the people who have been fired, it hasn't been mentioned to say this person got fired because of this. They just got fired. So it's not only Gary. So let's not just separate Gary from everybody else. It's everybody else. I think the president made a decision to say, if somebody does something, I'm just going to fire them. Now, the people might want to know. The people have the right to know why that person was fired. But is it against the law not to say it? That I don't know. So you are right, yes. It's not only Gary. It's everybody else who has been fired. The reasons why they were fired were not mentioned. So it's not only Gary, it's everybody else. But you might be right to say people might want to know.
Ramosokotwane, thank you so very much for the answer that you give. Now, we have a particular case where the entire ACC board actually was dissolved. And the board member in the name of Wakava mentioned that there is corruption here within ACC. And one of the things that came out was procurement of judgments. People paying money for consent judgments and people getting compensated. That matter was never investigated. Yes, I appreciate that, firing. Yes, good actually. And you are very right when you point to that, yes, he has fired some people and he's rightly so to fire them. But when people ask questions, those questions must be answered. And I'm not saying that Munduvile should not be investigated. He has to be investigated if he has done something wrong. But look at this, Msokotwane. Where we sit for 5 years. This matter came 5 years, and then now the elections are going to do. Yes, the timing might be wrong, and this is a concern. And then we say, in a similar manner, and the cases that happen at a similar time, Others are quiet. Nothing is happening on them. Can we also have a status around them? But in terms of your submission, I respect your submission and I agree with you.
Okay. Kalinda.
On the same,
go ahead, you got something? Got a rebuttal?
In the same vein, the president introduced a new law that says if a person is arrested, there is now a certain limit of time for that investigation to carry on from the time that the person was arrested. So I understand in Zambia we probably don't have any statute of limitations. So meaning a case doesn't get rotten. Even if you did a case 20 years ago,
even in Bemba,
yes, the case is still there. Here in America, I think it's after 6 or 7 years, the case is not there anymore.
10 years, 10 years, I think.
10 years. So somebody, if Kambiri hadn't said anything about the corruption that Munduvile did, none of this would have happened. Somebody said something, so it has to be looked into.
And that somebody is not just a mere person like me, who wake up from a drunk slumber and say, "Oh, Babundubile supplied air and have evidence." You know, but this is on record. Willie, he's a highly placed politician, a former government minister, telling us in a recording that he had evidence against Munduvile. So why shouldn't our investigative wings take an interest in that? Because we have a government that says we are on here to root out corruption, however small or big it comes or it presents itself. Why not? I mean, why can't we just wait for the investigative wings to do their investigations and they'll tell us their findings? What's wrong with that? I mean, like my president here, Mr. Musokotwani said, we have no time, limitation with these cases. So, I mean, it's suggested or it's alleged Gary did something. Maybe his time is up. Let's not say, "Oh no, we're only targeting certain people." Didn't the president just fire the minister of health? Come on! Didn't the president fire? Who else did he fire? That chap from Luapula. Didn't he fire him? I mean, this president is doing all he can. But let's just wait on the investigation wing to do what they need to do. What's the rush? When a high-placed member of a politician, a former government official says he has evidence linking this person to these deals, why can't we just wait? $1.5 million is not cheap change. Let's wait. Let's wait and see what happens. I think for me, I've spoken enough. So the timing, maybe 2 months before the election, I get it. But if he did something, let's get to the bottom of it. I'll leave it there.
My last submission on this matter, imagine there was a recording of a minister and an opposition leader wanting to corrupt judges of a foreign country. A recording is there. Nothing has happened. We have not seen that minister getting investigated for allegedly corrupting, wanting to corrupt.
Send me the recording. Now we are bringing issues we don't know about.
Yes, Wakalinda. Ngatamuishile today ituma yali between Wadorini Mwamba na Wachavinga. And the recording went viral. There was a recording between Levi Ngoma and Wakafumba wanting to interfere with the work of GP. That recording has never seen a light of the day because I'm a complainant. There is no complainant. You cannot use you can't use it at all for social media. So it's a rondololi because bantu banga bakakakwa. by virtue of vakalinda namutumira foni umuntu ataleko njebere banani bali uku Zambia banani nabachitefi bayabeta panopena sana to bamweto bali senda 2 million then to alandishanya because I was a former what now mwikateni mwetwa we. You know, this becomes witch hunting. Guys, still investigate mukwishi. Ama recordings yengi ayashabo acted on. So to act on this one recording and run with it, for me, I personally I don't see anything that is worth doing there. It's just politicking and political persecution. Just leave the man alone to contest and the Zambians will decide.
This is my contribution on this one. I think we cannot call it frivolous and we cannot call it unsolicited, because Avena Zambia, they deserve the right to know what's really going on. All these political parties and political leaders need to be held accountable for what they do. They need to be held accountable. And Ramonduvile, and with all these associations, with all these construction companies, there's a dossier on him that is thick, very, very, very thick. And when you start to
give us a dossier, what to see it?
No, excuse me. So there's, it's very, very thick that individuals, political parties, and the law enforcement office. Vane, can you give us space to talk? Okay. You were talking, we were quiet. Can we have that same reciprocal thing? So the dossier that's there, people have analyzed it, especially the security wings, and there's no way when the SEC comes to knock on your door, mwana ni wicho ati wafika pama level za hapo sana. Okay? Kwali upupu wa iwafe nkoko wa SEC tete wese kuno nyapa doyo. Okay? Kwali upupu wa iwafe bamba, SEC will not have a knock on your door. But upupu bumbi, when it is touching on national treasure, national resources, the SEC will come and knock on your door. And when they do that, you have to ask yourself, why? Okay? But it's up to you, okay? If you're innocent, to prove, to say, I'm innocent. But there's no need of bringing all these Abantu. Hey, mukaleta abantu. Hey, because they confuse abantu. No. Go inside there. They're going to ask you questions. You're going to answer. If you want a lawyer present, you've got the right. If you don't have you can't afford a lawyer, a free lawyer. Okay? Now, Munduvile Babeta, Baita Chitinta. If you are even Nankanu, Morega Quatimwe, is your brother. Campiongo. Every time I look at Campiongo, like, they're brothers. And so, Campiongo was saying, like, look, itakwisa chintintangombe. Ngawaitwa akwita. Kwisa veweka, not waisa chintintangombe. Ngawaita tukabi pasaba mbala. That's where that killing started happening. The killing started happening. Okay? Because now Muntule in the street, Bamu pasa. Cause instructions from Campiongo. Who was he? His position, what he was. But anyway, aside from that, if he's innocent, he's going to he just needs to present himself. He's going to be proven that he's innocent. But the dossier that the intelligence has on him is thick, very thick, that it talks about a lot of money that went into different companies. Yet saw various companies, and they were getting contracts. But whether it was him doing it or not, but in his companies, that's what was happening. But pange say, "Oh, that pange say, oh, don't want your companies. Don't want your mundubire. Pum 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 pum. Road tasty. So that's where this investigation is. And let's allow the investigation agencies to complete. Okay? Tapa in the prosecution. But the thing is this, people are saying at timing. I think we cannot store information. What if information just came now? And then coincidentally, we're going through elections. We cannot say, now information had to put the 10 to load it and then after elections and then we start investigating. The investigation means have to go when they get the information, that's when they act. Okay? Information, and that's when they act. They cannot act when they don't have information. So it's neither here or there, whether it's right or wrong to do this or to bring up this issue now when we're going towards elections. It's neither here or there. It's about the policing. They are doing the investigations. They finish the investigations, and then who knows? Maybe he's innocent. Okay, maybe the guy is innocent. Okay. And then how can you say innocent? But if we're going to say, let's store this thing, we cannot investigate it now because it's towards the elections. No. That's not the way the world works. Mr. Msokotwani.
Yes, sir. Hold on.
Go ahead. I mean, we need to conclude on these issues.
No, hold on. No, I think I've said my part on that issue.
Yeah.
Of Mr. Mundubile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you did. Yeah.
Like I said, it looks like because of the timing, but if there's a case, and because Kambwili said something, so it's very possible. Like, let's say if we were here in America, maybe if somebody says something that they have proof, maybe the intelligence agency went to Kambwili and said, you have proof. Show us the proof. Otherwise, if you don't show us the proof, either you go to jail or somebody will take you to court. So maybe where is the proof that you have? And give us the proof. So maybe the intelligence did that, and that's why they went to Mundubile, because they got proof from Kambwili. If they caught Kambwili on camera saying, I have proof, I'm sure they went to him, and I'm sure they have the proof from Kambwili.
Fantastic. Yep. I agree with you. Now,
just to add on, Vajrufia, Kambwili is a lawyer. Kambwili is a lawyer. I mean, Mundubile is a lawyer. I beg your pardon. When that tape came out, why hasn't he sued Chishimba Kambwili? Because if he's innocent, that's defamation, right? Why hasn't he sued Kambwili? That's the question somebody needs to answer. I'll leave it.
A very good question. Yeah. So, away from politics, I think let's put eyes on the podcast. I think we've got a very important ceremony that's going to happen in the Western. Well, it's happening as we speak. Probably. What time is it now? Very own tradition of the Komboka ceremony. Which is I think it's one of the I think I was just saying to myself, like, I think it's one of the largest ceremonies in Zambia. I don't know. Among all traditional ceremonies, I think the Komboka is the largest one. What do you think?
Well, let me just quickly come in on this one. I think I would like to give kudos to the president because he's a man that has said since he came into power that he's going to attend all the traditional ceremony. And with his attendance, what has happened? It has amplified, revived most of our ceremonies. I mean, didn't we just have a ceremony in Eastern Province last month? What was it? The president was there. People did their thing. We had international tourists visiting. So Kwamboka seems to be taking a bigger chunk right now because we have these wonderful content creators from Ghana. What's his name? Wadmaya, I can't even pronounce it. Ghana and Gosha. They're in the country covering the Kwamboka ceremony. And these guys have millions and millions of subscribers and listeners. So yes, it's Kwamboka has been amplified, like many other ceremonies that we have in Zambia and in the last 4 years. And the reason is because of the president who has taken it upon himself to attend these ceremonies and encourage Zambian citizens to be proud of where they come from, of their roots. So, I would like to believe so. And, more tourism, then it brings, forex into the country. It strengthens our kwacha, which is among the, right now is one of the best performing currencies in Africa. So I would say kudos to the president in there.
Yep. Mr. Wakazia, kukomboka chani bani?
Ria mwamba mwasa kisha epo ndiro mwasa ayipusha but Wakazia, what do you want to say?
But I thought we've been talking all this time.
Anyway, no, for Kwamboka is a good ceremony, and it's a very important ceremony. And I think we must strengthen all the traditional ceremonies. I like the one that the other one that is quite very big, to the same level is the Kwamba Kwaro, the Kawaundi. It has three countries involved: Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique. So chiefs in these three countries actually congregate under Kawaundi. So it's also another one that is really big. But anyway, this is good. Yeah, the ceremonies are good and we must keep promoting them.
Mr. Musokotwane.
Each tribe has a chief and they have traditional ceremonies. The only time HH did not attend these ceremonies was out of respect for ECL. When there was that wrangle going on about ECL and his body, out of respect, HH did not attend any of the ceremonies 2 years ago. Or was it last year? In case people did not know. That's number one. Number two, the importance of this, HH also made sure that he implemented a law of saying all the chiefs have to be built a palace because people are going to be visiting these palaces. So you can't go visit the chief and then the palace is somehow. So HH promised to say all the chiefs are going to have palaces, if they don't have palaces, rebuilt so that at least they can look presentable. That's number two. Number three, the chiefs are part of the decision making of the people somehow because people listen to the chief. So if the chief says something, it matters. So with him going to all these traditional ceremonies and so on, it shows that he's interested in the culture of the people that particular area. Now, aside from politics, it also teaches cultures and traditions to the young ones who are going. The young ones who are growing up are learning about their traditions and their cultures. Now, on a personal note, Chief Musokotwane just got installed 2 years ago. There was a problem with installing a Chief Musokotwane, so we didn't have a chief for 18 years. So last year was the first time the chief was installed. And last year was the first time they had a traditional ceremony. This year is going to be the next. I'm taking my whole family. My wife is American. My kids are half American. And my grandkids are American. I'm taking all of them in July
Mhm.
for the ceremony. So it's important to have these ceremonies because they teach children about your
Mhm.
culture, your heritage, and your traditions. So apart
Mhm.
from politics, just from that chiefdom, it's important to have these situations where our children and our relatives can learn about how we
Mhm.
grew up and the traditions of how we do things. So
Mhm.
yes, it's important to have these traditional ceremonies. All of they are traditional ceremonies that we don't even know. Every month there's a traditional ceremony, but we just know of the big ones. We have Chief Mukuni has a ceremony. Chief Monze has a ceremony. Chief Musagotwani, Chief Mwamba. All these
Mhm.
are they are ceremonies. At least 2 ceremonies every month throughout the year. So
Mhm.
I think it's a good thing that the president is also encouraging these things.
And
Nambana.
just to just to write on what you just said, the president himself is like, look, I will go and attend all these ceremonies and amplify that unity. It's very, very important in the Zambian culture. And I think that's above all and above everything else. That's what's important. I mean, we've seen HH in the northern province, in the eastern province, in the western province. We've seen him everywhere, attending all these, ceremonies. Now, going back to the Kohombok, like I was saying, like, look, I think it's one of the things that people want to go and see. I don't know why, for some reason, and with all this arrangement that we've had between Zambia and Ghana, where people can travel between the two countries. They can travel between the two countries, visa free. That's why we're seeing all these guys. Like, look, what Demaya is like a very huge influencer in the social world in terms of all these young kids and everything. Is very huge, and he's there right now as we speak. He's there in the Western Province. So it just gives us that pride to say, like, look, I think people want to see us, and if we have influencers like that, it gives us that influence of other individuals in other parts of the continent to say, next year I think I need to go and watch that. I need to go see that. I need to go. And the significance of it, you have to learn, like, look, moving from a high, from a from a lower plane to a higher plane, and understanding that whole concept of when it starts raining, when it's raining, and then the houses start submerging. But again, my thinking was like, why don't we start like the way the people in other parts of the world that have the same experience have? Instead of people running away, maybe it's a bad idea, but why don't we create floating homes? Start creating those floating homes where people, individuals, villagers, they don't need to move, because they have those floating homes. It's a floating home. Like if you go to Thailand, there are floating homes, it's on a river, but they live on the river.
But
Like,
but but, but, but Chirufia, sorry to cut in. This is Zambia we're talking about. Don't start bringing such ideas. Because first of all, we are known for not taking care of ourselves, not following certain rules. You bring in floating homes, people will be dying. This is what we're talking about. That's all I have to say. But it's a good
no, the
idea.
floating homes are not
It's
they're not even.
a good idea.
Do you know how they make them? They're made out of reeds. They're made out of reeds, the same reeds that grow on the maize, right?
But
Anyway,
Chirufia, these are Zambians we are talking.
like, I'll send you a video. I'll send you a video. Nikumushi.
I have seen them, but this is Zambians. These are Zambians we're talking about. We are so careless about our own lives. I mean, yes, they're built beautifully, but you have to consider the safety of our people and how they take their own safety.
Okay.
Our own people. Let's consider that.
Okay.
I mean,
Anyway, it's a subject of discussion of another day.
yes,
But
yes,
what
and
I'm saying is
it's because if you build those
if a
floating
villager in
homes,
a different country can live in a floating home, people in Western province can also live in a floating home. It's simple. It's made out of the same thing.
and then you take away the instance of Kombo.
But that's what I'm saying. That maybe it's a bad idea. Maybe it's a bad idea. But I'm just bringing it up. You know, she's still.
All right.
I'm saying, like, look, maybe it's a bad idea, but I'm just. I'm like, hey, anyway. Maybe other parts of the country where there are floods and stuff like that, we can think of things like that instead of people always crying of their homes being submerged in water whenever there's a flood. Let's build those. You know that here there always floods every year. Can we have a certain, engineers to say, okay, this area it floods every year. Can we start building homes like this? Okay, even just to have people building up a little bit higher, so that when the floods come in, the water is going. They did it in Louisiana when that hurricane hit Louisiana. They did it there, and we can also learn from that, especially Mozambique, Zambia, all these places where there's always those hit with, those floods. You can start building homes upwards, and have that big, base, and if a flood comes, you're already up there, and it goes. Your home is still there. You're safe. It's just an idea. I don't know. Mr. Kazia.
I've heard the conversation and what Wakalinda said. Yeah, so I hope that those are some of the things, ideas that you should be able to take to government. Yeah, but I would encourage you to go to the Komboka ceremony and see for yourselves, not just the ceremony, because at least I have had the chance to go in the plains. I've had the chance to see what goes on. So it's a good spectacle, and it's really grounded in tradition.
Okay. So what did you see when you're there, when you had a chance to go there? What did you see?
No, I saw a lot of systems that are grounded in tradition, that are not just, you can't just wake up and uproot them. They are very, very structured, very, very respectful, and also there is reason for why Komboka is done in the way it is done. And that is an aspect that I respect and appreciate.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Mr. Msokota, are you there? I don't know if Mr. Msokotwani is still there or dropped out. Anyway, let's close the show. Last remarks. I think we're gonna start with Wakalinda. We'll close the show. Wakalinda, and then you, Wakazia, and then me, and then that's it. We go in that format, and then let's close the show, and we'll meet next week again.
Indeed, let's close the show. It's been a long one, but even that, I would like to just bring you guys to the attention of one Malukula Makebizuru's little fracas at the airport. I mean, I don't understand why the opposition, when they are questioned just a little bit, they start saying, oh no, Malukula has been denied permission to leave the country. Even when it's his own doing, why are you always accusing the government? I mean, the earlier you realize that you put your things in order, this is a government of laws. You can't just wake up, take away the passport, that no, I'm going to South Africa. But when they question you at, I'm being prosecuted. Come on, Marukula. And not only that, it's presidential. I think and Pamos, whatever. Like I always said, these parties of Nabamoneka. Pamosi. Rubinda has refused to hand over the instrument of power after the so-called convention they had last week. And then you have the courts yesterday ruling in favor of Chavinga as being the legally recognized president of the PF or acting president. I mean, come on, but PF, get it together, because we need a very, very vibrant opposition to give headaches to the current government so that they can even do better for our people. That's my final comment today, and until next week, keep the faith. By the way, Mr. President, I'll call you after this.
Okay, I think it's dropped out. Wakazia.
Yeah, for me, I think people must be allowed to do what they want to do in the democratic space. And I do not think they should ever listen to advice that are coming from people that are the enemies. Because it's like you want a lion to tell you where you should hide your children when you are a goat. And then the lion comes to tell you, no, you should hide your child like this, your kid like this. It will be eaten. So I think it is important that Makebi Zulu, if he has been elected, he must do it the way he wants to do it. The ultimate deciders of our democratic space are Zambians. So, in a way that you want to see that this is what is going to constitute democracy or is going to constitute good leadership, we wish you luck, because they shouldn't listen to you. You have more things to do right now. Now, chairman of elections, nobody knows why Wagari has been fired from that. You should be able to strengthen internal democracy within UPND. You want to see that? Go for a convention. Get a leader. Get a running mate. Who is the running mate right now? We don't know. You are also going to the same questions that people are asking. People are asking the same questions. They're asking PF. They're asking UKA. They're asking UPND as well. Keep answering them and strengthen the party as well. UPND need to be strengthened as well. And to deal with these chances that are now jumping on, no, we are doing the numbers. What numbers are they adding? I am always asking, what's the value that they've added to the people? The values might be numbers to the ruling party because they want to eat. But to the people, for me, I always caution them. Watch out for these people that have just been their career jumpers. And then they come and tell you that we mean well. What meaning well? So, for UPND, I would encourage UPND to strengthen its own party and not to focus on the PF and others. The aspect of a strong opposition, yes, a strong opposition is required, of which is non-interfered with. Chavinga has been a puppet. He is under some puppet government. So if he is decided to join whoever he wants to join, it is right, but he cannot drag everyone around. So Makebi Zulu, if people want him to be the president, there's nothing that anyone will do about it. He will be president. People are going to decide. So, by HH Navena, if people want him to continue, he's going to continue. We are going to vote for him. Yeah. But at times, it might last. It's just the way we talk to each other. Because we demean ourselves to the point that there's nothing that respectful that come out of our mouth. Number adopt they're very, very disrespectful. If you find them insulting big people, it's like I don't know. And it all starts with how we, the elders, are speaking to each other. Even when we differ, we have to use the choice of the words and the language. I want it. But for me, I would encourage every other opposition leader in Zambia who wants to exercise the democratic right, let them do so. It is within the rights and within the laws of the country. I submit.
Oh, thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching the other or listening to the podcast of Red Tag Media. We encourage you to follow us, like our page, as we bring all these latest information to your ears and onto your doorsteps. Now, my last submission, we went to Aqualesa. I'm talking about just the moral ground of individuals, of the kids growing up today. And I've had several discussions with young people. And in my discussions, I've just come to learn like certain kids right now don't have a direction. They do not have a direction. And for the most part, they are doing things, just wake up in the morning and just go and and do stuff. And I think we're lacking that guidance, like I was saying. Like, look, can we introduce in these schools from primary, secondary school, the guidance teachers that we used to have? Can we reintroduce those? We're training them, but they are not being placed anyway. Guidance teachers. It looks like a minute or irrelevant, position. But look, it's a position where individuals or kids, if they're going through something at home, they can go actually to this, guidance teacher, and that person will be able to guide them in the right way. That's why we're having all these problems, that we're seeing, kids misbehaving, like the other one in Mongo, that kid, and we ended up with teachers being arrested, which was a sad thing. I was like, a teacher being arrested? Like, why did even that happen? To be honest, because that's when we were. In fact, if it was the times that us were going to school, I think that was the time the teachers would need to be arrested, because us were being beaten. Really, like we like Puma zona. You don't remember those Amanda Nikadama ruler Nama duster planga. And then they tell that you put your hands like this, and then you put your hands like this, and then the teacher hits you on your thumbs, for doing something wrong, or you didn't answer something right, or coming late. As we are the ones that went through, they're not going through anything. Okay, so why arresting those teachers? So things have changed, and I think when the morals need to be taught to the Avana, even the teacher system, the relationship between teacher student also need to be revised in the education system, because we need to know what level which a teacher needs to discipline a student. You, because you're being a teacher, of course, you know how it was brutal in the past years. It wasn't like a smooth running thing. Everything was brutal. Like, mikwap, mikwap, bend down. And they even gave authority to other students who are older than you, and they gave them the authority to actually, inflict those pains on you. They would come in and say, they will slap you, they'll hit you and stuff like that, because they were older students. Those are the times that as we grew up, everybody can relate to those things. But nowadays, it's different. They're saying, "Oh, you can do that." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I gotta do that." But the kids are even lazy, and that's the point, that you're having it a good way, and at the same time, you're even failing, and at the same time, you're disrespecting your teachers. Anyway, so that's my contribution for today. Thank you, Mr. Kazia. Thank you, Bakalinda, and we'll meet next week with different topics. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have yourself a lovely day.